Hello and welcome to my Pecha Kucha presentation on the game I wrote about last week. It is called Mana Clash, as you can tell. It is a high fantasy RPG type of game. So, I hope you enjoy. So, like most games, I started with a problem, though my problem was that the assignment was to make an RPG if we had no restrictions, which unfortunately that already exists for me. Baldur's Gate 3 is the perfect RPG for me. The solution? Mix Baldur's Gate 3 with something else. So taking all of those systems and the way the game plays, the 3D environment, how you control it, and all of that, and mixing that into a new setting, specifically one from Magic the Gathering. Not only will I be taking a setting from Magic the Gathering, but I'll also be taking its magic system, which works based on mana. There are 5 different colors of mana, and each one has control over a different type of magic, and you get this mana from different areas of land in the world. For example, red mana you get from mountains, and that helps you power things like fireballs and big destructions, whereas you get green mana from forest, and that can help you summon creatures like dinosaurs and things like that. Going color by color, we start with white mana, which you get from plains and deserts, and it's all about protection and healing. The philosophy associated with it is order, so you get things like armies are very much associated with it, and also things like setting rules and laws. Blue mana is a lot more associated with the typical magic you would expect, things like divination and mind control, and also things like cloning yourself. This is gotten from islands and big water sources, so it's also associated with large sea monsters. For philosophy, it's about things like perfection and innovation. Black mana is all about power and not being inhibited by anything, doing things for yourself. So other magic that might be frowned upon, such as necromancy, sacrificing, murder, deals with demons, is associated with that. Black mana you get from swampy areas. Red mana comes from mountains and volcanoes, and it's all about impulsiveness and passion. There's a lot of fire and explosions and randomness and speed, and also dragons, because dragons are really cool. We get green mana from forest and all sorts of green natural type areas. This color is all about growth and naturalness, the destruction of buildings and things that are constructed. It's associated with a lot of different types of monsters, but one of its main ones is hydras, as they represent endless growth. In Magic the Gathering, if you want to cast a white spell, you need to control a plains, but it would work a bit differently in this game, since you'll be roaming around and can't just control the land, so things might get stronger. So say you'll heal more when you use a healing spell in a desert, where if you use a necromancy spell in a swamp, you'll summon more zombies. In Magic the Gathering, when you build a deck, you're not just restricted to one color, but you could use 2. Character creation would work the same in this game. So when you mix them together, it leads to a mix in magic and ideologies. So when you mix together nature and science, you might get things like mutants. And when you mix together self-interest and order, you might get things like corrupt courts. In fact, in Magic the Gathering, there's no limit to the amount of colors you can put in your deck. You could put all 5, but this might lead to things being more split. For example, if you go into white, black, and red, then you might have an angel, a demon, and a dragon companion instead of mixing them together into something new. The secret 6 color is colorless, which is obviously not a color. This isn't really associated with magic and is more associated with martial things like objects, building, vehicles, and also the things that the other colors can't touch, such as otherworldly beings that come from beyond the land. In Magic the Gathering, and in my game, it's not just magic that's affected by your mana though, it also affects your martial things. For example, if you're associated with red, then your martial style might be very fast, or you might be like a barbarian fighting with your pure passion. Moving on to the setting, my game would take place in one of Magic the Gathering's most iconic worlds, that being Dominaria. This is a diverse world that has all sorts of different cultures and lands spanning through all of history, including ancient war machines, massive sea monsters, wizard schools, and castles. The story of the game would have you traversing the entire world, so you touch upon all of the lands and have access to all of the different types of mana. Dominaria is full of different factions associated with different mana, such as the white-aligned Banalish Knights or green-aligned Llanowar Elves, so your alignment would play into your interactions with them. It's important to note that each color of mana solves problems in a different way. So for example, if you have a quest to defend the Shivan people on the mountain from invading Llanowar Elves, someone with red magic would be able to shoot down at them from the mountaintop, where someone with black magic might rely on more stealth-based magic and their martial knives to deal with the problem. On to my inspirations. Obviously the biggest two are Baldur's Gate 3 and Magic the Gathering, specifically the Dominaria setting of it. I would also like to give a shout out to Magic Legends, which is a video game of Magic the Gathering they tried to make in the past, but it died very quickly. And that is the end. Thank you for watching and listening. This was a very fun assignment and a lot more difficult than I thought it would be, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I enjoy writing.